Well, for more on China's continuing supply-side reforms, let's bring in Perry Wong, Managing Director of Research at the Milken Institute. He joins us live from Hong Kong. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how are we seeing the benefits of supply-side reforms reflected in China's overall economy?
I think so far, not much to be shown, because I think I would like people to understand supply-side reform would take a longer time to review its progress and its effects. So we should not expect a 2 to 3, 5 years and see that we have the job done, voila. If you look at the experience, I think you referred to earlier, the 80s, the United States, the true impact did not really show, or the positive didn't show until late 80s and mid 90s. So that took that long to complete the process. Now, China, I think, is going through the process. And I would say it's a balancing act. It's not just to cut capacity, but rather to improve the efficiency and quality of growth. So on that measure, it will take a while.
So then, looking at the blueprint that General Secretary Xi Jinping laid out, what more do you think needs to be done on this front?
Well, I think it should allow the market to participate even deeper. In that sense, I think bankruptcy perhaps to allow certain firms, that would expedite the process. But having that said, I think the goal is to grow the economy and also to have an even growth between different income classes, and also the growth differentials among regions and sectors. So it's a complex job. I think by focus on innovation and promote entrepreneurship, that would be a very good start. But it's a long task to go through.
So as we touch on it then, let's also examine the role of Made in China 2025 when it comes to innovation and also improving Chinese brands, both at home and their exposure abroad as China's market opens up. Why is that so significant?
Well, I think one of the most significant improvement when the economy is being improved in efficiencies, I think competition is a very good agent, I think, so to speak, to clear the markets. So we need that. And when that happens, I think firms from foreign and domestic probably will compete in a space, and the winner, most likely, will be the Chinese citizens. So in that process, that is very important. That's exactly what Reagan did in the 80s to open up the US markets, on the electronic markets, auto markets, and all those give tremendous efficiency to the marketplace and also benefit the customers.
Now let's also look at the financial sector. Tell us about some of the risks there and whether Beijing's deleveraging efforts are enough to really curtail them.
I think, well, I think let me go back a little bit. I think I agree risk is something I think the Chinese government is looking at closely, and everyone else outside of China also look at that. But I would say the following. I think it's normal to have risk in financial sectors. If there is no risk, there's no gain. I think what you refer to as risk is the systematic risk. I think that's the part that I think the central banker Zhou Xiaochuan have commented so often. I think Chinese government had done a pretty good job, I think, in the last 2 years or so to contain it. I think pretty much through clamping down on the property speculations and some of the unreasonable loan, if you will, or investment. I think I've done a good job, particularly in the last 6 or 7 months. So the job is still out there, but at least from that perspective, it's making progress.
So then looking ahead in terms of the business landscape, when you look at some of the goals laid out in the blueprint by Xi Jinping, how do you see the business developments playing out then in the next 5 years?
I think looking at the growth trajectories, I think the GDP growth has lowered substantially in the last 3 to 4 years, from 9-something to today 6-something. Many look at it as a not too good a sign, I think, saying, okay, the Chinese market is softening. But I think I would look at the trade-off by having a somewhat weaker growth by going through restructuring to tomorrow's higher, stable, higher quality growth. If that's the trade-off, I think 5 years from now, perhaps China can do much better. I think in terms of efficiencies, coupled with the tax, sales tax, VAT tax reform, I think that would improve the efficiency. That should give the Chinese corporate entities some more room, I think, to play and in the marketplace. So that will be, those are the good signs.
All right, well, thank you so much. Perry Wong there, Managing Director of Research at the Milken Institute.